This is a Hot Pie Original.
Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast with me, Chad Fisher. No more.
Yo, it's Aaron Cheatham. Yeah, we out the house, boy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast. I am Chad Fisher, along with my co-host, Mr. Aaron Cheatham. Aaron, how you doing?
Brother, I am.
You like that high-pitched shit?
It was.
How you doing?
It was all right, but I am fantastic.
Oh, that was good. I like that one.
I leaned into that one. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
You got to do a little neck swing with it.
Yeah.
You got to swing. Fantastic. I'm fantastic,
So
brother.
great.
How are you doing? You survived the winter storm?
Dude, you know what's so funny is I was listening to our last episode that we recorded a couple weeks before all that shit
with
happened.
Michael Cargill?
Yeah, and we're like sitting there talking. We're like, yeah, man, winter's like over, dog. We're
No,
good.
you were like winter's like
Motherfucker,
over.
you said the same thing.
I
Quit
was
playing.
like, sure, Chad.
You're like, yeah, it's like very mild around here. It's super mild.
Yeah, but I don't ever trust that shit. You were like, I got flip flops.
I didn't say shit
I
about
got
wearing
toes
flip-flops.
out.
I said I couldn't wait
You
to
was
get
like,
my toes out.
I can't wait for my toenails to get in the sun. You were all about that shit.
I can't wait to get these fucking claws, these goddamn
Yeah, your talons out.
these talons out in the sunshine and shit. Yeah. But then I was like listening to that episode pretty much like from a bunker in my house with no heat or water and shit. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, should have never said anything about the fucking winter being
So,
over.
note to self, don't ever mention weather.
Never say that shit again. Yeah.
Never talk about weather on the show. Never talk about ET. Done and done.
Yeah, dog. There we go. But yeah, man, I had a good week other than not, having to boil snow and shit like that to wash my hands and shit like that.
You have
Freaked
any
out for a little bit.
yellow snow cones and everything?
Oh yeah, you already know.
Oh, for sure.
That's my shit.
Outside of the snowstorm and that nonsense, gotta say, been a pretty solid week.
Yeah.
Got new glasses. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Check these hoes out right here. Hold on.
Those are nice.
Look at me, America. Hold on.
America. Sweden too, dog.
Sweden.
We're big in
Great Britain.
Sweden.
Do you see these glasses?
Great Britain.
Burberry. All right?
Burberry. Oh shit.
I got Burberry on my face.
the motherfuckers.
I
came out
got Burberry on my body. I smell like Burberry. I look like Burberry. Y'all got to start calling me the Burberry man or just Burman for short. Burman.
Get out, dog.
I am the. Look at this. Burberry. We need a check. I need a sponsorship. I'm rocking all your shit. I got on the Burberry glasses.
You got
Look
them
at
bitches from the clearance rack. Quit
No.
playing. Got them for the
Don't play your boy like I'm out here living Dollar General fresh or nothing like that.
yeah.
These is top class.
I didn't know
This-
Burberry sold glasses for less than $30. That's crazy.
They don't. And
Oh.
I ain't paying no 30. Well, actually, insurance cut it down to that.
Yeah, I was saying.
But let's not play like I'm bargain binge shopping and shit. All right, your boy doing all right in
You
life.
found them bitches at the Goodwill on South Lamar and was like,
Listen here.
no one's gonna know.
You see,
Let me get my prescription in these bitches. That's close enough. Fuck it.
listen here, motherfucker. I got a mortgage. All right, so I can have real glasses. God damn it.
That's true, man.
All right,
You got a mortgage.
you barefoot stomp. I got a mortgage.
Dog. So I think real quick we need to explain this shit, okay? Because we have insinuated about the barefoot
So
stop
check it
2
out.
weeks in a row.
Eventually, we're going to drop the audio podcast that Chad
Eventually.
and I had did before. And in the middle of one episode, Chad has a little bladder and he has to go to the bathroom a lot.
A little
And
bladder. I was drunk.
Constantly little bladder drunk, no draws. He goes in the bathroom and I'm in the kitchen with our guest talking. And out the corner of my eye, I see Chad open the door, look down, and I see a stomp. And I immediately knew what it was. As soon as I saw it, I was like, you just stomp a
I know what's
roach?
going on?
You stomped a roach, didn't you? And he was like,
Yep. Damn straight I did, motherfucker.
I was like, actually, what I said is, did you just barefoot stomp a
Barefoot
roach?
stomp, yep. And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yeah, I did. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I did.
That's
And
exactly.
I'm not ashamed of it because that's one less roach.
In that moment, when you just barefoot stomp a roach and somebody asks you about it, Like you've got that primalness in you. Like you goddamn right. I just stomp the shit out
If you see another one, let me know. I'll
stomp him too.
I'll stomp that bitch too.
You seeing his kinfolk around here?
You see his cousin around here, let me know. I will barefoot stomp his bitch ass too.
I'll barefoot stomp his whole genocide. His whole family. Your bloodline's gone.
Nah, I don't give a shit.
So that's where that came from.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
So that's why. And then on top of that, let me also say that I do fucking wear drawers, man. You need to stop saying this shit. I wear drawers.
It's for the ladies, though. He ain't got no drawers on right now, ladies.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes in the summertime, I don't wear drawers.
I know you don't. Oh, now the truth comes out. Now all of a sudden.
Come on, motherfucker. You know it's like 110 degrees here sometimes. You get to keep your booty from.
Nah, I keep my stuff cradled in cotton.
Shit. Now it's 105, man. You know what I'm saying?
Cradled in cotton.
I want to be able to jump into a water fountain or a pool or something like that at any time. I don't have to worry about my drawers. So when it's 105,
the drawers double as swimming trunks.
So they're just shorts.
Nah, man. Then you can't be walking around with wet clothes. You can throw them drawers in the bushes and then put on your pants again.
In 105 degree weather in Austin, like those things dry off pretty quick.
You got a shout out for the week?
Yeah, I do, man. My shout out is me for wearing drawers all the time. That's what I want to say. I'm proud of myself for wearing drawers.
Fair enough.
Even though you talk all this shit about me not wearing drawers, I do wear drawers. I think you don't wear drawers, man. I think you're just trying to like project.
I'll pull my drawers out right now. You want to see my drawers?
Nah, I don't. But my shout out of the week.
That's my level of dedication. That's how committed. I'll show you mine.
Yeah,
where yours at?
You know,
where yours at?
Got some holes in them and shit.
But they're on. They on. I'm wearing them.
You got some railroad tracks draws on.
There might be some little cooter bugs in them. But
that's fucking gross, dude. You stay talking about gross butthole shit, man. I don't know.
Ain't nobody talking about buttholes. I'm talking
did the other day. Last time we.
Right now, I'm not talking about buttholes. You know when you get the little the lint balls and stuff on your drawers. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Cooter bugs.
That's cool. That's fine. I think that's just like pilling.
Woo?
Pilling. It's like when your clothes pill. You know what that means?
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
Okay, we call them cooter bugs.
Cooter bugs.
Put cooter bugs on your stuff. You need cooter bugs in your eyes too. Like, I book a little cooter bug in your eye.
Cooter bug.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good to know. We should have put that on. That's my word.
No, I'm gonna put it on a T-shirt. Cooter bug.
There you go.
Cooter bug free.
There you go. My shout out of the week is Mark Cuban. Man, did you hear about what Mark Cuban did?
What did he do this time? He's done a lot of stuff.
They're not playing the national anthem at Dallas Mavericks games anymore, which I think is cool because I think it's dumb anyway. I don't understand. Like, what are they like? Are they getting ready to go into battle or something? Like, what the fuck are you playing the national anthem? It's like a bunch of dudes about to chase around a ball with pads on and shit. Like, the fuck? Why are we playing a national anthem? This is kind of cultish, if you ask me.
I don't know about cultish, but I also grew up on a military base, military family, so I'm used to hearing the national anthem. I still take my hat off when I hear the national anthem.
Do you?
Yeah. Because that's where I was raised.
I don't do that shit.
Well, of course not. You're not a patriot.
Of course I'm not. Hell no, I'm not a patriot.
You don't care about this country.
I care about every country. That's what it is.
Okay. But no, I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or another that Mark Cuban has gone that direction. I mean, I don't care. And as far as playing the song before games, it's a tradition. If somebody wants to change the tradition, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no mandate saying they have to. So if he doesn't want to play the song, don't play the song.
Yeah.
But if you are going to play the song, like, you know, be respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let's not have Fergie do it anymore. Or Roseanne Barr. Like, that's disrespecting. That shit
was funny.
That's worse than anything that any protest, any flag protest, like, that doesn't even touch Fergie or Roseanne Barr or Carl Lewis singing the national anthem.
Yeah, that was terrible. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
Yeah,
they knew that shit was going to be terrible.
They should be jailed for that shit.
Who's your shout out?
My shout out is my wife. It was her birthday yesterday. So
you just be using the show to get brownie points. You did your mama a couple weeks ago. Now you're doing your wife. You trying to get some pussy? What's going on?
I mean, I don't have to shout her out for that, but it helps.
She's not gonna see this for like 3 weeks, so you're gonna get.
It helps. I mean, but
you're helping your future self get pussy.
Maybe because I'm not getting it now.
Oh, damn.
No, just, you know,
Ashley, putting you on blast, girl.
You gotta. I like to keep it real. Let the people that are around me know. Like this, I like to use this shout out segment to shout out people that I actually know and like let them know, hey, yo, I see you doing things. And if I don't have somebody around me that I know, then I'll go with something else. But, you know, it's her birthday. Let's give her a little rub. And then I won't talk about her again for about 6 months on the show.
Damn.
So
I still neglect all the people in my life and just talk about NBA owners that are billionaires.
Cool. That's fine. You want to shout out Mark Cuban? He might send you a G5.
Hey, Mark Cuban, can I get like some front court or courtside seats.
You don't want courtside seats for the Mavs.
No, you can't get them now anyways.
Exactly. You'll be a screen.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You'll do that?
I'm down. Let me and my son be on a screen somewhere.
On the real though, like it's just trippy because we haven't been in the studio in a week or so.
Yeah.
And the last time we were here,
you see my new shit back here, man?
I do see your new shit.
This is my lovely, beautiful, awesome cat, Tatey, Bronte, aka
I'm just cautious now because two of the last 3 episodes we shot, stuff is falling off the walls, and I believe it's because of Paranormally. I think they be in here talking.
The show that Hot Pie produces as well? Yeah.
They be in here talking to ghosts and shit.
They bring that, and
then the ghosts don't like what we talking about. And they start knocking stuff off. So if y'all can stop bringing the ghost in as guest, so they can stop knocking shit off the walls, it'd be great. Like, cause listen, I'm black. And it'll soon just be it'll soon just be Chad sitting in here. If one more thing falls over for no reason, it's just going to be the Chad show, and I'll be doing it from the parking lot because
you're gonna be on Zoom and shit from the fucking.
I will be the Zoom call in because
that's good, man. I've been wanting some more airtime. It's fucking.
Oh, you got plenty. Don't worry about it. I just let my hat get flipped one time.
Yeah, you fucking done.
Yeah. Please, guys, please, like, keep them. Stop. Take them home with you. Yeah. Don't leave them here.
You can
please.
Do that.
Man, Chad, we got a guest this week, right?
Yeah, we do, man. It's super exciting to have this guy on.
Well, why don't you introduce him for us?
Okay, our guest today is a filmmaker, and he's tackled a variety of subjects. His film Black and Blue is about police brutality, corruption, and the rigged judicial system. Vanity Fair called one of his films, Loose Change 9/11, the first internet blockbuster. His most recent film is about CBD and it's called The Magic Molecule. It's super interesting. I just watched it a couple days ago. His films are available on virtually all digital platforms, and he was recently a guest on Armchair Expert. Please welcome to the show. Very interesting. Super excited to have Mr. Dylan Avery on the show. Dylan, how you doing, brother? Thanks for coming on.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Thanks for joining us, Dylan.
You've tackled so many different subjects, man. We want to get into a lot of that stuff. But first,
one thing we like to do, Dylan, we like to play games with our guests, just to introduce you to us and the format a little bit in the audience. Are you ready to play a game with us, Dylan?
Sure, why not?
All right, this game.
He seems super stoked about it. He's like, fuck. I mean, if I have to, I guess we can do this shit.
No, I don't know what to expect.
So it's all good, man. It's gonna be fun.
So this game that we're playing this week is called Julian's Got What? So we go to julianslive.com, which is an auction website out of Beverly Hills, where they auction off a whole bunch of ridiculous nonsense that I really feel like there's got to be some illegal ties on how your next documentary should
be on Julian's
figuring out how they get their hands on all of this crazy stuff that they auction off. Yeah. I'm gonna give you an item, and you and Chad will guess higher or lower on the price that I give you, and whoever gets it right gets a point. And at the end, you guys are playing for. I don't have it. It's over there. We have a trophy that's actually just a paperweight. That's a party bag. Yeah. And if you win, Chad will totally send it to you out of pocket.
Shit. I'm gonna ask for some petty cash from Hot Pie.
All right. Are you ready to play, Dylan?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, Chad, are you ready?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right. Our first item up for auction from in Julian's Got What is Steve Jobs bow tie.
Oh shit!
Is that over or under $2,500 for a Steve Jobs bow tie? And this is what was paid at the auction.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm gonna go with under.
Under.
You're going under. What you got?
I'm gonna say over because I feel like there's got to be some Apple enthusiast out there that's like, yeah, I've got to have that. I absolutely have to.
I don't know what type of nerd would pay anywhere near $2,500 for a Steve Jobs worn bow tie. But I can tell you, what's up?
But people pay $1,000 for a new iPhone. So
there you go, man. So what would you rather have, an iPhone or a fucking bow tie, dude?
It depends on what I'm going to use the bow tie for.
The bow tie will probably appreciate in value compared to the iPhone.
That's very true, dude. And it wasn't made by slave labor. Well, most likely. It probably still was.
It was probably made in Taiwan. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was made in a different suicide net factory.
I was just about to say, he stole my joke, man. That's fucking good.
But there was definitely a net hanging at that factory where they make the bow ties.
Yeah, the first person that started working on the bow tie killed themselves. And then another person had to come in.
This is why it's so expensive, because the soul of a child laborer is inside that bow tie.
Seriously, dude.
I'll have you guys know that this bow tie was auctioned off for $4,062.50 for a Steve Jobs worn bow tie.
Jesus.
Just go to Target, guys.
$4,000.
$4,000 for a bow tie.
You can have so much fun with $4,000, man. I don't understand what kind of fun comes from buying a bow tie from Steve Jobs.
I could pay so many bills with $4,000.
Shit.
All right, next up on the auction block, a Johnny Cash owned, used, and signed guitar with the traveling case. Is that over or under $22,000? Johnny Cash owned, used, and signed guitar with the case. On Julian's.com, juliansauctions.com, is that going for more or less than $22,000? Chad, you want to start us off?
I'm going to say more. It has to be more than that.
Yeah.
22 grand. Yeah. Johnny Cash is like I'm not a huge fan, but he's like an iconic, person. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Okay. Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking like six figures.
What?
Oh shit.
I mean, it's Johnny Cash, and it's a guitar that was owned and signed by Johnny Cash. I mean, I think six figures is almost too low.
I think you could be onto something. As a point of reference, remember once we did BB King, a BB King guitar that was like $75,000.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I'll have you guys know you're both right. This Johnny Cash owned, used, and signed guitar with traveling case auctioned off for $37,500.
Damn.
Wow, that's
way less than what Dylan thought.
Yeah. When you said six figures, it made a lot of sense.
I was thinking like 100, 200,000, something like that.
This was probably like his practice joint, like not his real, it ain't his stage used one, but this is the one he does when he's messing around, getting high in the shack behind the house.
He just used it to break up some coke lines and shit.
He probably used that when he was sitting on the balcony watching people jump off of the factories to their death while they're making bow ties. Next up, we got three more. Next up is a Madonna signed satin glove. Or actually, it's both of the gloves. Madonna signed satin glove. This is going to be from the 80s when she was rocking that satin look.
That thing's dirty as fuck.
It probably is. It's probably got more DNA on it than Lewinsky's dress. Is this set of gloves over or under $5,000?
I'm going to go under.
Under?
I'm going to say under too.
You're both correct. This set of gloves went for $3,520 at auction.
Jesus.
I thought it would have been... I kind of thought it might have been more.
Really?
Yeah,
why?
because it's Madonna and she's got a rabbit fat. I mean, if a Steve Jobs blow tie, take two. If
you're thinking about Madonna,
yes, a Madonna blow tie. I'm just saying if that bow tie went for that price, I figure Madonna would go for five figures. But
if cocaine was a person, it would be Madonna.
Okay.
She looked like a coke
or
binge.
Gary Busey.
Or Gary Busey, one of the two.
All right, these next two come from that little area of Julian's that really makes me wonder how they got this shit.
Yeah.
This next one, Charlie Chaplin International Driver's License.
Jesus.
Charlie Chaplin's driver's license.
Somebody robbed this motherfucker.
Is this over or under $500 for Charlie Chaplin's driver's? How do you get Charlie Chaplin's driver's license? And who has the balls to sell it?
Julian's.
Clearly, because Julian is in the mob.
Fuck, yeah.
Dylan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, 500 seems low, so.
Okay. What you got? Charlie Chaplin's driver's license.
I'm going to say it's got to be over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is $3,200.
Damn.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's crazy.
Still cheaper than Steve Jobs' bow tie.
Yeah.
Charlie, how do you get Charlie Chaplin's
I also want to
driver's
know
license?
what you do with this shit afterwards. Like, this has got to be like the weirdest conversation starter of all time. Like, people come to your crib and they're like,
where do you have that displayed?
Hey, man, I got a Charlie Chaplin International driver's license. They're like, okay, I don't really give a shit, dog. No one cares.
Where would you display that in your house? If you had a house full of bullshit, where would you display in your house? Like, Dylan, where would you hang up Charlie Chaplin's driver's license, or would it be in your wallet?
Well, it definitely in my back pocket, so I can sit on it all the time. That's really depreciating in value. No, I mean, I was at this one guy's house in LA, and he had like a whole bunch of movie props, like one of the masks from Pink Floyd's The Wall. There was like a Planet of the Apes thing, and they're all in like glass cases with like a little label that's like, this is Charlie Chaplin's International driver's license. So you would definitely put it in a glass case with a label and
when he was
point at it.
When he was showing you all this shit, were you just like, did you like know what to say? Because I feel like I wouldn't know what to say. I just like I'd run out of like things to say. It's like cool.
Well, the thing is, he wasn't taking us on a tour. It wasn't like, look at all this cool shit I had. It literally was just like all over the place, and it was like, oh, look at that. It wasn't like it could have been a conversation starter, but he wasn't like, come into my house. Look at all my expensive collectibles that only I care about.
yeah.
Well,
it was just cool little things that were kind of like peppered throughout the house.
That's cool.
That sounds like a Coke party at Charlie Sheen's house.
Yeah. Was it Charlie Sheen? Is that who you?
It was actually related to Charlie Sheen.
Oh shit!
It was not Charlie Sheen
Emilio
himself,
Estevez. That's who it was.
I got a nose for these things.
It was one of Charlie's buddies.
Emilio
so
Estevez.
Okay. Okay. All right. Last one. Are you guys ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Last thing up for auction. Julian'sAuctions.com or Julian's Live. This is a Michael Jackson signed pillowcase. I'm not making this up.
Dog, that's like terrible.
A Michael Jackson signed pillowcase.
Did they already sell the signed condom or something?
No, but the child is still inside.
Oh,
is this over or under $30,000 for a Michael Jackson signed pillowcase?
How you gonna do Michael like that?
The joke was there. The joke was there. How you do me that way?
So how much?
I'm gonna have to go under because as much as I think most of these things have been underpriced, that seemed. How much did you say it was?
I said 30,000. 30,000.
30,000?
Yeah, Michael Jackson signed pillowcase.
Maybe like 15, 20. So under.
Shit, I'm gonna say like $215,000.
$215,000?
I'm joking. I don't know, but it's definitely over.
You think it's over?
Yeah. A pillowcase, dog.
How do you get Michael Jackson to sign a pillowcase? Does he sign it?
He must have been hard up.
That is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Like I was at a Redman and Method Man concert, and like at the end of the show, they're signing autographs. People were like throwing their shoes on the stage, and they were like catching them, sign the shoe and throw it back. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, pillowcase.
Yeah.
It still had his tears on it and shit.
This pillowcase, I'll have you know, went for $5,120.
Oh shit. Yep.
Point goes to Dylan. I think we're at a tie, guys. I think we're at a tie. I got one more just in case there was a tie. I have one more since you guys are tied at one correct or 1-1. A Magic Johnson signed Michigan State jersey, his college jersey, not the one he wore, but a Michigan State jersey signed by Magic Johnson. Is that over or under $3,000?
Oh, dude, definitely over.
Over?
You know what? I'm going to go under. If we're going to break a tie, we got to break a tie.
There you go.
So.
It comes with like a free month of prep or something.
It comes with an AIDS kit, an HIV kit.
I had to do it, dude.
And Dylan is right. This Magic Johnson signed jersey auction for $250.
What?
Yes.
$250?
Wow.
$250.
Dang.
I mean, you could have just went to and got it from a Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Probably
I'll sign that bitch for $20.
I wonder how much an autographed jersey signed by me would be worth.
Nothing.
Worth something to somebody, damn it. That's our game. Dylan, thank you for playing along. Dylan, you win, so we're going to find that party bag, and Chad's totally going to send it to you.
Yeah, you're going to.
One of these days, you're going to get that in the mail.
You're going to pay me for that shit, too.
I owe you one grab bag.
Yeah, there you go.
You get an IOU coming in the mail.
There we go.
Chad, do you have headlines?
Yeah, we got some funny headlines. A mixture, okay. I thought this was funny. Did you hear about the Black History opt-out in Utah? We talked about this.
We did talk about this. It's retarded.
So this is hilarious. North Ogden Montessori Charter School to allow students to opt out of Black History Month curriculum, which I don't know. It's just that's like the most Utah thing I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Of course, this shit happened in Utah. You know,
that's because that's probably the only place where there's not enough black people to care.
Yeah.
You know, like if they did that in Mississippi, that's not going to work. They do it in Tennessee or Arkansas, not going to work. But in Utah, it's like
it doesn't bats an eye.
Mormons.
Yeah,
Mormons.
But it says,
had you heard of that, Dylan? Have you heard that story?
No, it doesn't surprise me because Utah is like one of the whitest states.
yeah, whiter than snow and shit. But it says decision by this school academy in North Ogden to allow parents to opt students out of Black History Month curriculum after receiving multiple requests to do so. So of course there's like a bunch of teachers, a bunch of Karens got together. It was like, you know what? Why don't we have White History Month? I don't get it. This is bullshit. You know, I'm sure that conversation took place.
You know, with Dylan sitting here, it made me think that like no wonder we haven't heard of any police brutality in Utah. Of course, it doesn't happen
they
there.
Just give them a ride home and shit. Like, God damn it, Chuck, not again.
No minorities.
Yeah.
There was a high profile case in Salt Lake City, I'm pretty sure, but of course I can't think of it. I was gonna say Daniel Shaver, the guy that got killed in the hotel while he was like crawling on the floor.
Oh yeah,
that was Vegas.
Okay.
So I can't think I would. And then I thought about the Native American that got shot, but that was Seattle. So I'm sure there's something in Salt Lake City, but yeah, probably involving a white guy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
But it says, reluctantly, I sent out a letter to our school community explaining the families are allowed to exercise their civil rights to not participate in Black History Month at the school. Hirakawa, I don't know who that is, like the director of the school or some shit. He said the parents' request deeply saddens and disappoints me, adding that he believes everyone, especially children, need to learn to appreciate and love those who are different from them.
Here's the thing. Just a thought. Utah. I'm looking at you. Black history is U.S. history.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you talking about?
It's so
we don't
up.
want to learn this part of our history.
Yeah.
Okay, go fuck yourself.
It's hilarious, man. That's
I yield the rest of my time.
Not surprised at all. Second headline is DoorDash spent at least $5.5 million to advertise their $1 million charity donation. Did you hear about this during the Super Bowl?
No.
This shit's hilarious, man. And that's a very conservative number, $5.5 million. That's just what they pay for the ad spot, not to mention like
production cost
and they got some annoying ass spoken word dude to peddle this shit. And it was like they used the Sesame Street characters and shit too. So yeah, at least $5.5 million. And it was capped at $1 million. The donation was capped at $1 million. And it ended up ended up being like small businesses that ended up paying for this because they instituted like an extra fee that they took from.
So in other words, they could have just donated the money.
Yeah,
and then just
10 times more.
And for $100,000 made a commercial saying, "Hey, we donated."
Yeah. So spent over.
That's unfortunately some typical shady DoorDash shit.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Or DoorDash is sketchy as
yeah,
fuck.
they are. They really are, dude. Yeah, they don't even tell you like what your total is when you order shit. You don't find out till like after you get your food.
Not only that, like the company has a super shady pay structure. So like with all the fees and everything that they charge, like it's fucked up. I did a little DoorDash when I lived in LA because I lived in LA.
Yeah.
But it'd be one of those things where like it would pop up on the screen and it'd be like $5.50 guarantee on this order. And then you'd find out that the tip itself was $5, which means that you got paid $1.50 for a half hour of your time, at least, mileage, wear and tear on your car, etc. And what I really noticed is when I switched over and started doing Grubhub for a bit, and Grubhub pays mileage, they pay a delivery fee, they pay you your tip, you get basically everything. So like on the customer end of it, like Grubhub is a little more expensive, but it's because the money's actually going to the drivers.
That's
whereas DoorDash is like, oh, well, we guarantee you 100% of your tips and you got tipped $5. So here's $5 plus another $1. And again, like deliveries take like usually 20 to 30 minutes each. You got to go to the restaurant, you got to get the food. Sometimes you got to fill up the drink. I mean, this is all pre-pandemic COVID time, so it's probably all different now. But like,
you got to grab a couple of chicken fingers out of that bag and stuff.
But like the people that drive for DoorDash, they work their ass off and they work their car off too, and like they aren't getting compensated for it at all. And this is like a $7-8 billion company. And again, they do shit like donate $1 million and then spend $5 million to tell everyone that they donated $1 million.
Right?
You guys are.
This is not new. A lot of companies have done this shit, but yeah, this is especially shady for a company like that. It says in the article that DoorDash announced that they had raised $1 million for this charitable effort. What they didn't mention is that they spent $5.5 million to buy the ad slot, according to the numbers obtained by this website.
That's a flex. That's what that is. I feel like a lot of Super Bowl commercials are that, but that's what this is by DoorDash. That's them flexing like, yeah, we got the money to do that. I'm going to get me a Super Bowl ad, even though it's worth 5 times more than the good cause that I'm talking about. Like, that's just a flex.
Dude, just to reiterate what Dylan just said, it says here, DoorDash is valued at $29 billion. They take an average of 25% of total orders from restaurants. If the average order is $30, probably way low. That's $7.50 in commission. They'll donate $1 for each order tonight, capped. Small business is paying for their Super Bowl ad and the donation.
Or here's a thought. How about you don't get a Super Bowl ad? You donate the $1 million, and at $5.5 you use, I don't know, kick it back to the people that are working for you.
That they wouldn't do that. Fuck that. Fuck.
If you really want to
donate $6 million to charity.
Just tweet it, dude. You could just tweet that you did it. I'm sure people will believe you. You know.
Yeah, people would find out. Like if DoorDash donated $6 million to whatever company, like
such
people would get.
I mean, they're like those people that have to tell you about the good deed they did.
Yeah.
Like I was always told, like if you do a good deed, you don't go blab it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, I gave a homeless guy a sandwich. You just do the good deed because it's a good deed.
Oh, it's like those people that post that shit on Facebook of like them giving someone $1 or whatever. It's like, dude, who gives a fuck? It's $1.
Like TikTok influencers and shit. Like,
look at me, I'm fucking
look at me feed this homeless guy.
Like,
look how cool I am.
Yeah.
No, that DoorDash shit, that is late stage capitalism.
Yeah,
right there.
totally agree. Totally
Absolutely.
agree. Wasn't surprised whatsoever. I'm sure there was like probably 4 other companies that did the same shit during the
but they
Super
kept
Bowl.
it under wrap. They weren't sloppy with it, you know?
Yeah. Okay, last headline. This 105-year-old beat COVID. She credits gin-soaked raisins. Heard of this?
No.
I can see that.
Dude, this is hilarious.
Wait, you can see that?
Yeah.
No, I saw that.
Oh, you saw?
Yeah,
okay.
Lucia DeClerc, the oldest resident of her New Jersey nursing home, tested positive for the virus on her 105th birthday, one day after her second vaccine shot. She said she's quick to, they asked her, how she lived to be 105, and she's quick to answer prayer, 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 one step at a time, no junk food. So apparently prayer works for Americans, not so much for poor Africans in third world countries and shit that can't eat or drink water. That's besides the point. But she says surviving the coronavirus, she said, also may have had something to do with another staple, the 9 gin-soaked golden raisins she has eaten each morning for most of her life.
Well, she's regular.
That's what it is. I've never heard of people soaking raisins in alcohol.
Where did you say she was from?
New Jersey.
Yeah, it makes sense. All of this
That's
checks
so
out.
Jersey.
She's like telling you how to do it too. She said, fill a jar,
Jesus.
9 raisins a day after it sits for 9 days. So it's like this fucking weird ass 9-9 shit, It's like 9 chews, 1 swallow.
You know what? My dad is from Jersey, and he tried to put me up over Christmas. He was trying to put me on this honey soaked garlic.
Yeah.
Like he was like, he's the thing he does. You get like garlic and you put it in a jar full of honey and you let it sit for like a week and a half. And then you pop one every morning.
Oh, wow.
This is a Jersey thing. They like soaking random fruit and vegetables.
That's weird, man.
And then popping them.
I guess, man. I wonder if she gets drunk off this shit. She's
Probably.
like walking around.
If she's 105, her tolerance is probably shit.
Yeah.
She's probably throwed by 6 o'clock in the morning off of a fucking raisin.
Just
Like
shit hammered, like trying to.
Hey, she's 105. Leave her alone. She can do whatever she wants.
She's like flashing the fucking.
she's earned it,
nurses and
right?
Stuff, like the male
She's
nurse.
earned that shit.
Yeah.
she saw Moses part to sea. She earned this shit.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
She was there when gin was invented. She gets to drink it.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Gin was named after her.
Yeah, so she's alive and well. Thank God.
Good for her.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that's gonna do it for headlines, man.
Well, Dylan, we got you on the show. I'm sure we got a lot of Chad. I know Chad's got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions. Chad, if you don't mind, I just want to ask Dylan something to start off
Go
with.
ahead.
Dylan, I did a lot of research getting ready for this interview with you, and I just need to know if the FBI is now watching me. Is there a chance?
It's funny that you asked that, because recently I filed a Freedom of Information Act request, because you can do that through the FBI. There's a section on their site you can go to, and you can request whatever records they have on you, and they came back and said they had nothing.
Oh, wow. So you're in the clear, man.
Well, I wasn't looking up Dylan Avery. I was like, where is Sybil? Like, I was like, what happened to Sybil Edmonds? I need to know. Like, they're probably looking for me now.
Yeah, they probably have you.
Sybil Edmonds, she's out there. I'm pretty sure I'm Facebook friends with her. Her and Colleen Rowley, who else? Yeah, that lady. Yeah, Colleen Rowley, Sybil Edmonds. There's a couple of them. Yeah, they're all still out there.
Whatever happened to Sybil? I know she released that book in 2012, Classified Woman. But did anything ever come from like her information that she had?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about it.
No.
Actually, I haven't heard her name brought up in a while. It took me a second to figure out who you were talking about.
I went deep into your catalog, homie. I went deep in the catalog.
Careful with that catalog.
That's why I'm worried about the FBI.
No, don't be worried. You're the millionth asshole on the internet looking up 9/11 truth at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I want to ask you, Dylan. I want to spend some time talking about Black and Blue. I thought this was a great film.
Thank you.
I went back and watched a little bit of it actually this morning. Rewatched like the last 30 minutes of it, just preparing for this. I want to know, like, just a general question, like, what made you want to make a film about police brutality? And I want to be clear, it's actually not just about police brutality, because in the film there are some relatively innocuous situations in comparison to like murdered by the police that you highlight. And my takeaway was that I felt like it was more about the amount of power that the police have, and
is that what you took from it?
I mean, I feel like that they like how like you see this incident of like a guy sitting on his porch asking a cop not to like cuss loudly in his neighborhood with an old lady walking by, and the guy just goes fucking berserk and arrests him and shit like that.
What I took from it mostly was that, but was like how hard it is to stand up for yourself.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I thought you did a beautiful job of like showing like all the hoops you have to jump through for justice when it comes to these things. Like DJ Alvey, all the stuff he went through, everything he went through, just to it was like, this is nonsense. It's ridiculous how much you have to go through. So you took the power from it, but I took like all of how long you have to live with this incident after it's over to get resolution from it.
I definitely have some questions about that, but I just want to know like what
you're both right.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I was trying to focus on both of those things, so you're definitely both on the right track.
So I just want to know what made you want to explore this topic.
Both personal experiences that I had moving to LA, and also what I saw both happening in LA and the articles that were starting to pop up on Facebook. In 2013, there was a high profile incident where like a black girl was at a Denny's with a bunch of her friends and like basically like got brutalized and thrown out of the Denny's by the officer. And I remember sharing the article about that with the caption, like, seriously considering making a documentary about police brutality. But I was still kind of like, not burnt out on docs per se, but after the whole loose change thing, I was just like, I don't know, because when your first film is really successful, you're going to exist in your own shadow for a long time. And, making another documentary about something after fucking 4 editions of Loose Change, I was like, I don't know if I have it in me. Confluence of things that I was seeing happening in the country and things that were starting to pop up on my timeline and all that. And the Kelly Thomas case was kind of the big one because, I'm living in LA. I had an editing job in Malibu, so I had like an hour drive to and from work every day. And I would listen to the Kelly Thomas trial and the developments every morning and every night on KPCC, essentially. And so when the officers were found not guilty, I was, like many people, I was shocked because I had been listening to this trial for like a good couple months, if not the whole year. It felt like it took all year. So the officers were found not guilty. There was a first protest. And I was on the East Coast helping someone move back to California. So I missed the first protest. But then when I heard of the second one on February 8th, 2014, I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to bring my camera, shoot some footage, take some pictures, whatever. Let's see what happens. I didn't go to the Kelly Thomas rally expecting that I would be shooting the opening scene for my police brutality documentary. It just kind of happened that way. Because then, as it said in the film, then I met Ruben. Ruben introduced me to the parents of Bobby Henning. The parents of Bobby Henning introduced me to all these other grieving families in LA, and it all just kind of snowballed from there. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm making a movie.
Did you go to any of the protests last year?
I briefly was at one of them in Hollywood because I was also at that time traveling across the country. I'd been cooped up for a couple months due to the pandemic, and I just needed to get out and hit the road. Gas was very cheap at the time, so I was like, fuck it, good time to just drive out to California, see some friends, get some stuff out of storage, drive back home. So I was at one of the protests in Hollywood very briefly, not any of the big ones. I was basically on the road and away from all that. I mean, I kind of I protested pretty hard in the Black and Blue days. So, and I felt everyone else had it handled.
You've done your part.
Sit this one out.
I protested for a good couple of years in a row just for police brutality, and I definitely got my share of that.
Can you take us inside of a protest? Because like last year when all this stuff was happening, like Chad was getting ready to have a kid. I have 2 kids, and there's a pandemic going on, so I didn't go out protesting and stuff, and so I've never actually been in the thralls of one of these protests. What is it like on the ground when you're in the middle of one of these protests?
Well, oddly enough, like every time I went to a protest to film it or even just to attend it, I never really saw any police brutality, ironically. I don't know what it was, but like every protest, every rally I would go to, like there was never really an incident per se. I'm trying to think of the closest I came to it. I mean, I was at the Capitol on January 6th, but I
Shut
left.
up.
Well, actually, no, I was in DC on the 6th, but I left after Trump's speech as everyone was going to the Capitol. So I missed everything. So true to form, I was in DC on January 6th and I still managed to just completely avoid all of the chaos. So I don't know what it is. So generally being at protests it's amazing. It's energizing. You know, you're there with a bunch of people that, you know, are fighting for the same thing you are. There's speakers and there's marches and there's signs and there's people shoulder to shoulder in the streets. Like it's definitely something that everyone should experience. You know, even if you're not actively participating in the protest, you should at least be at one so you can kind of tune into what people are feeling.
You know what? I did go to one in Dallas now that I think about it. It was a friend drugged me along because she was going. And I didn't know what the cause was, but I was there because my friend, I don't know what the protest was for, but they had speakers and there were a lot of people out there, you know, chanting, they had signs and all that. But because I didn't know or believe in the cause, like I didn't feel the energy. I was just like, is it time to go yet?
Yeah.
You know? So I'm curious about that energy and that vibe that's in the air when you're out there with other like-minded people trying to make change happen. If it's more collaborative or more collaboration that comes out of it, do you feel that angst or do you feel like you can accomplish it? I don't know what it feels like to be in those protests, and you've been in the heart of them and you know what the actual vibe, the conversation people have had or having during those protests. And that's something I've always been curious about.
No, I mean, it's definitely energizing. And I mean, it was, you know, going back to the 9/11 truth days, like same thing, like being at a protest, especially like dealing with that subject in that time period where, you know, you couldn't even question the Iraq war without being labeled a terrorist sympathizer. There's something to be said about standing amongst a group of people that believe the same thing that you do. And I know that that's something that could easily be applied to January 6th and the KKK and white supremacists and all that. And I mean, I think, you know, I don't know if herd mentality is the right way to describe it, but, you know, humans and animals, you know, we like to function in packs. You know, we like to be in a group with others that are like us or believe in the same things we do. So there's definitely, I think there's like somewhat of a primal thing that comes out of going to a protest because, you know, it's like, rawr, we are the pack, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to ask you about that. Do you think protesting is the answer? Like, has it worked so far? And do you think, like, if not, do they need to be bigger or are they just completely ineffective?
Well, I mean, Black Lives Matter got something done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the conversation about police brutality and even the way police unions and police departments have been going about it, things have definitely changed since Ferguson. And I'm not going to say that they're all better or that the problem is solved, but you definitely, like, it's in the zeitgeist now. Like Black Lives Matter, police brutality, like it's in the public discussion now in a way that it wasn't there before, but it was kind of, it happened with Rodney King. It happened with Oscar Grant. These are two isolated incidents. Like these are just two things that happened. Let's not talk about the larger issues surrounding it. So I do feel now that we're living in a time where police brutality, white supremacy, Black Lives Matter, these are all things that people are aware of and are trying to do their best to, because even fucking Joe Biden had to make it like a part of his know, campaign and his platform. Like, oh, you know, we're going to fight for the rights of everybody and standard running for president shit. So I think Black Lives Matter definitely accomplished something for sure. And if they had just stayed at home or if they had just written a bunch of articles on the internet, like, nobody would have cared. I mean, like we do unfortunately live in a world where you have to get people's attention. Yeah. And you have a very small window in which you can do that. And then once you have that attention, what you do with it. And so they got something done. I see more discussions about accountability and I see more officers getting arrested. But at the same time, I still see the same videos popping up, 9-year-old getting pepper sprayed, you know? So like, it's still out there. It's still happening. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, police brutality is gone now. It's amazing. But things are definitely changing. And I think that's the most important thing to keep in mind. Like nothing in this country happens overnight. Systemic change, societal change never happens overnight, always takes time. And so if Ferguson was August 2014, we're in February 2021, less than 7 years for something that's been so deeply rooted in the history of America to be slowly becoming exposed and addressed and dealt with is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you a question. Why do you think this is something that's been on my mind a lot? Why do cops scare so easily? Like, are they just giant pussies or what? Like, I don't understand. They always use, or is this? I mean, obviously, this is tongue in cheek. They use this as like a defense for
he was
why
going
they're
for my gun.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw that in his film. He one of the subjects said this, made this bullshit up when there was no DNA on the gun whatsoever found from the victim. But is this is just like a tactic they use, obviously, to defend themselves and to justify murder, right?
Well, it's the kind of thing you scream when you're being recorded, either by somebody's cell phone or your own body cam or your own audio recorder. Like, it's the kind of thing that you say in the heat of the moment so that you can bring it up in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like the type of thing
it's 2 words. It's plausible deniability.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's all they have to scream. Like there could be no resisting on camera at all, but all it takes is one officer to scream, "Stop resisting. He's going for my gun. Take your pick." Like there's a series of things. I was afraid for my life.
Yeah.
That's a favorite one when they're actually being deposed or when they're testifying. Is like, well, I was afraid for my life. And the problem is that the police unions have the system so jerry-rigged that all the prosecutor has to say is like, look, according to the police union, if a police officer is fearful of their life, they can use deadly force. And so the jury's hands are kind of tied because they're like, all right, well, I guess the officer was technically following the law because he said he was afraid for his life. I can't go in his head and prove that he wasn't fearful for his life. So I guess he must have been, so not guilty.
Wow.
Like they have all this series of loopholes that all these cops can just keep jumping through.
Yeah.
And that's why it's taken so long for things to change.
It seems like that's like something that they are taught, like that if you're in this situation, like I'm not saying that they sit in the classroom and they go, hey, if you get in a situation, yell this out. But I feel like that's something that's been discussed.
That's probably what happened.
Okay. Right. I didn't want to just blanketly be like, they're teaching them to say this, but I feel like
if it happens so often, it has to be.
We were upset that they're still not taking sensitivity training and their conflict de-escalation and all that stuff. They're not learning those things, but every cop knows to say, he's going for my gun. I was afraid for my life. You know what I'm saying?
It's in Black and Blue when the detective is interviewing Officer Stewart that shot Bobby Henning. Like the detective is like coaching him. He's like, and fearing for your safety and fearing for my safety, and the safety of my partners, I shot the suspect. Like he's literally being told what to say by the detective right after he killed this kid.
That's
like, you just need to say right here that you're fearing for your safety. So I'm going to let you say that now.
Yeah. That's insane.
Mind boggling. And that's being recorded.
Like, and they still get away with it.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
They
had been getting away with it, and the system has been rigged in their favor for so long that they can just do and say whatever they want, and they know that a jury's not going to find them guilty just because that's the system.
Do you know
what's fucked?
Do you know what the conviction rate is for cops who kill civilians? I've read a couple different numbers. I've seen that it's incredibly low.
Digits.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like under 5%, I believe.
Yeah, like they never get convicted. Ever.
Do you think anything's going to change with Kamala Harris being in office and a self-described top cop? Do you think anything's going to change with yeah, same. I don't either. But.
Look, I was in that precarious position where I was so fucking glad to be done with Trump, but I had to explain to people, like, look, just because I'm happy that Trump's out of there doesn't mean that I'm like Yahoo Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Like, I know who these two people are. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But like, it's been at least a couple weeks where I haven't had to think about the president at all. Like, until today, I haven't had to worry about what the president's doing or saying. I haven't had to worry about what he fucking tweeted. Like,
that shit was annoying.
I've barely thought about the president, and it's been amazing.
You know what's funny is when I was doing the research, I saw you had made. I wrote this down that you had said the Bush administration will go down as the evilest administration we've ever had. Do you still feel that way, considering what you just said?
You know,
I should have waited 4 years.
I thought at the time that things couldn't possibly get any worse. Boy, and that just goes to show you like how far we fell too. Like especially with all the like the Bush rehabilitation that we saw, and how even like George Bush had to come out and like all the living former presidents had to come together and be like, this is the peaceful transfer of power. This is how this works.
Yeah.
Like holy fucking shit, man. Like just bizarro world.
Literally.
Like how bad do we have to get?
At the time, you know, in my limited life experience and what I knew from history, I like many people thought that they were going to go down as the worst administration in history. But hey, the bar just got a lot lower or higher depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Aaron alluded to it a little bit ago, but we see in your film that most of the time the litigation process for this stuff with the cops and civilians is strung out so long that people run out of money, they run out of patience, and they ultimately end up settling most of the times. And the cops typically avoid any real penalty. And then this is something that I want to stress is that it's the taxpayers that end up footing the bill for these settlements, correct?
Yeah. And that's the problem. And that's I think was one of the proposed policy changes in the NYPD, maybe, where if an officer is sued and he has to settle, like it's going to come out of his pocket now instead of out of the taxpayers. And that's why these guys do these things with impunity, because they're like, well, even if I'm somehow found guilty, or even if there is a settlement, I'm not fucking paying for it. These guys will have GoFundMes for like their settlement fees and shit, you know, or like their retirement because they can't kill black people anymore.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. But
I bet if we cut into that pension, they stop shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah,
I bet if that settlement came out, they pension.
And that's part of the policy changes that I think are actually going to change things. When it's like, no, if you kill someone and there's a settlement, guess what? You're paying the settlement. Like,
at the very least, that's what you should be doing.
Bullets are going to stop flying pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or even if not that specific officer, but if it came out the department's pension, you know, it's
as
on everybody. Out of our collective
totally
pension.
Agree.
You know, wait, we got to give $5 million to what?
Yeah.
Because he shot some. I guarantee you, when you start fucking with you start fucking with other people's money, they start holding each other accountable.
Yeah, and they're going to de-escalate situations more. They're going to be more apt to do that if they know that they're going to be penalized too, instead of just literally standing there as we've seen.
See, because the problem is we can't, like from where I'm sitting, the problem is we can't get the like other officers will say, well, yeah, there's a couple of bad apples, but we can't get them to do anything about that. They're not putting any pressure that we can see from the outside on each other to, you know, do the job the right way, be a good apple. But if you start taking away from my retirement and my family's money in the future because you want to go out there and be reckless, I guarantee you there's a lot of officers that are going to step up and be like,
grow a spine real quick.
Like, you know, you're not going to be able to put your knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes, 46 seconds if you're going to fuck up my pension.
Yeah.
You know, I guarantee you one of those dudes kicks him in the forehead.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, obviously, of course, this goes without saying that there is a problem with white police officers killing minorities, especially black people. But you show in your film, you kind of show someone from all. You show a white kid, you show Mexican guy and everything like that. Obviously, of course, like minorities are disproportionately affected by this, but their power trip and everything like that. It's not just exclusive to just. And it happens in very innocuous situations as well. Like you show, it's like no one. I forget the gentleman's name, the bigger guy that lived, I think in Massachusetts, ended up passing away. Yeah, so he, this dude's just sitting on his porch. You know what I'm saying? And ends up having all this shit happen to him. That has to fight this litigation for years and everything like that. I'm sure it probably in some way contributed to his early death and everything like that, with the stress and everything like that he had to go through. I'm not saying that was the cause, but a lot of people are affected, and it doesn't just take someone being killed for their lives to be ruined or to be greatly affected.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because to me, one of my big things going into it is that I didn't want to just focus on what happened. I didn't want to go and interview someone and be like, all right, tell me about what happened. Tell me, how they died, et cetera. And then that's the end of it. Because to me, that's a lot of times what the news and possibly other filmmakers or other journalists, muckrakers, what have you, like they generally just kind of focus on the nuts and bolts of what happened. For me, I was very interested in chronicling the effects that it had on people and how long it takes to get justice and how long this affects people personally. That's why it's like I shot it for 2 years, and people were like, "Oh, are you done with Black and Blue?" I'm like, "No, I still got cases going on. I still got unsettled, court dates and stuff. I got depositions that I'm waiting on. I got footage that I'm waiting for the lawyers to release. Like, it was a lot, but I mean, I think that to me, hopefully, is one of the more, I don't know if powerful is the right word. I'm not trying to compliment my own.
No, it was.
But that to me was the whole point, is like, I need to show people that this isn't like a one and done kind of thing. Like, even if you're just beat up for filming a police officer, even if you're just the family member of someone who died, like, you don't ever really get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
one of the things you had,
the main things that I wanted to point across.
One of the things you had in the movie that I thought was very compelling was with the parents of Henning, when the stepdad said, people, if they didn't know us before 2012, they don't know who we were, because this is who we are now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really telling that, like, that's the effect of these type of things on the family, where their life is consumed by the court cases and by the protesting and the litigation and all that. And eventually, like, people that didn't know you before this event happened have no idea who you were, because it changes you on a fundamental level of what's important to you in your life. And that's not seen on the news. That's not seen in the media.
Yeah.
The effect that these incidents have on people. And I thought you did a good job of really showing that
they're people. Yeah.
That when it's not in the news anymore, there's still a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad you picked up on that, because that was kind of the whole point of doing it.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried in the movie.
I'm not gonna lie. It made me, I'm not gonna lie. The movie made me mad. It made me mad because it took me to a place that mentally that I hadn't been in a while.
Yeah.
That I didn't want to, like. I'm a black dude. I've been fucked with by the cops.
Mm-hmm.
I've had weapons pulled on me more than one occasion. At least 3 times I've had cops pull weapons on me.
Fuck.
I'm lucky enough to not be dead.
Yeah.
But I've been face down on the cement and then released, with a gun to my back by the police.
God
That's
damn.
happened, So why, like this, documentaries and stories like yours, that like this, they drive up a visceral feel of anger inside of me, and,
As they should.
Yeah, because it takes me back to that place where I've repressed a lot of those feelings. I'm trying to be an upstanding citizen, but I mean, none of the times that cops pulled guns on me ended up with me. I'm not in jail, right? Like I went to court once for one of them, and I got thrown out. So what was the reason for the other times? Like that. It made me like. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Higher Learning.
Yeah, of course, dog. That's one of my favorite movies.
Like that movie right there. It came out in like '96, and I would watch that every day before school, and then I would just mean mug white people all day. Like, but for me, it stirred up that feeling of like of pride and being not on edge, but like being alert and aware. And your movie did the same thing, where it stirred up those same feelings of alertness and emotion because of my personal experiences. And you did a good job of that. Like, I just want to tell you that, like, you did a good job of that. It made me think, like, now that you've made this movie, what effect were you hoping that it had? Like, were you hoping to stir people up like the way I'm stirred up, or were you hoping for change? What emotion were you trying to get from people from this?
Well, I wasn't going to lie to myself and be like, oh, well, Black and Blue is going to change the system. Like, and especially when everyone else started making their own police, because that was kind of the downside of being so early to the game with Black and Blue, that I still had all these cases that I was following and all these things that I still had to wait to be wrapped up. So while everyone's off making movies about Ferguson and Baltimore and all this other stuff, I'm still in production. And so all these other movies come out, and then I'm finally done with Black and Blue, and everyone's like, oh, another police brutality documentary, huh? It's like, no, I was...
right.
So I wasn't expecting it to change the world, but I was hoping that anybody who did watch it got what you guys out of it, which is like, this is not about, it's not about the what or the how, or not even really the why, but I mean just about the aftermath and how long these things affect people for long after they're over. I was hoping, due to having a bunch of retired law enforcement officers in the film, I was hoping that it would maybe get some traction at like police academies, universities, like institutional uses, stuff like that. And unfortunately, the film was in the hands of a kind of shitty distributor for 3 years, but thankfully that's fixed now, and it's in the much more competent hands of Journeyman Pictures over in the UK.
That's awesome.
So if anybody is watching this, they want to check it out. It's on Amazon, iTunes. If you guys do want to rent it, purchase it, it's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
I spent 3 years of my life on the movie, and then another 3 years not seeing a dime of it.
Yeah.
And so now, and again, anybody making documentaries to be rich should give up and should find a different career, like be a fucking doctor or something. So none of this is to say go watch Black and Blue so I can make some money finally, but it's just nice to know that people are actually like watching it, and I'm able to see how many people are watching it and get monthly statements, and I know like what to do with the film accordingly.
That's really awesome. Yeah, you can go to his website, IamDylanAvery.com. You can see all of his other films on there too.
Oh, and real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off,
good.
but one thing that I did want to get out there, I did last summer direct my first narrative feature film.
Oh, sweet. What is it, and when can we expect it?
It's called Asteroid. It should be, if it's not on the front page of my website, if you go to the news, there's a picture there from one of our last days of shooting where we had this gigantic crowd scene. We had closed down Main Street. We had fire trucks and police chief SUVs. It was crazy.
That's badass. Yeah. You can see all of his films on there and everything. I just had a couple more questions about Black and Blue.
Oh, I had a question just in general. Like, what drove you to this? Like, what made you get into making documentaries to begin with? Like what in your life told you like this is your calling?
Well, growing up, I wanted to be a programmer. I wanted to make video games. You know, it was a passion of mine growing up and still is. But I couldn't wrap my head around the more complex programming languages like C+, because I had done a bunch of stuff in like QBasic, starter RPGs and shit like that. But as soon as I had to learn C+, my brain I just couldn't do it. And so from there, running parallel to that, I had like edited a music video for my mom's friend who had a band who had an album that I really liked. So there was a song on the album that I wanted to make a music video for. So Encarta was a big thing at the time, the early like CD-ROM based encyclopedias where like the CDs came in cartridges, like that early. So I ripped a bunch of stuff off of some Encarta discs and used that to cut together this little music video. So I was kind of like dipping my toes into the video filmmaking world. I wrote a script for the first Project Greenlight, which I think was like 98. I just kind of fell into it because, again, the famous story that Loose Change was originally going to be a narrative feature film, and kind of slowly evolved into a documentary, which, when you're 18 years old and you're trying to make a narrative feature film that has like car chases and people rallying at the White House and government agents and all that stuff, like you learn very quickly that you don't have the resources to pull off what you have in your head.
Yeah.
And even in its narrative form, Loose Change was going to like break away, and one of the characters who had just learned something was going to narrate this like short documentary section, and then it would get back to the narrative. So even when it was a narrative, it was still part documentary.
Wow, there you go.
And then, after a couple of test screenings with some of the scenes that we had shot combined with the documentary stuff, everybody was like, yeah, I mean, the movie, the actor movie stuff was all right, but the information's really what I got out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, all right, well, fuck it, full documentary. And then from there, that's just kind of where I got stuck. Loose Change came out. It was a big deal. Made 4 of those, took a year or 2 off. I while I was living in San Diego, shot my first documentary because, Loose Change was all pre-existing material. I wasn't there on 9/11.
Yeah.
So Buzzkill shot in Ocean Beach, San Diego. That was great, just practice overall, because it was like, all right, I have to shoot an entire documentary from start to finish. I have to shoot on my own interviews. I can't rely on anything else. So it was nice practice. It was on Amazon Prime, but they've cut off a bunch of documentaries.
Yeah, I
so
saw
if you
that.
want to see my weird little coffee documentary while I was living in San Diego, it's on YouTube. It's called Buzzkill. If you type in "Is there life after coffee?" that'll definitely bring it up. Or like Buzzkill.
I think it's on your website too. Like you've got at least a trailer, I think, on there, don't you?
Yeah, the trailer, and I might have linked to the YouTube upload, which I unlisted, but then now relisted because it's not on Prime anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube.
All right, good.
I just want to.
Yeah, but
sorry.
I mean, I've just been kind of stuck in documentary land since Loose Change, and that's why it's nice that last year I finally got to direct a feature because that's really all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about that. We're not going to spend too much time talking about this, but I just find it's interesting to me as a comedian, and I've done sketches. I did like an Alex Jones sketch that was pretty popular and everything. And I've heard you talk about in interviews recently about how if you don't know, like 9/11, Loose Change 9/11 was fucking massive. It was huge. It was like a massive deal. I watched it, shortly after it came out. Everyone was talking about it. It was like as we said in the intro, Vanity Fair called it the first internet blockbuster. It was a massive amount of views and everything. And you've kind of been trying to distance yourself from that a little bit, just in the sense that like you want to be known for other things and not be pigeonholed. And I feel like I can relate to that a little bit because I didn't want to do like after Alex Jones, after I made that sketch, I still get emails all the time. People are like, "Oh, you got to do another Alex Jones, man. You got to do another Alex Jones." And I'm like, dude, I've got so many other sketches and stand up and a podcast now. I don't want to just be known for that shit.
You don't want to be a one-hit
Everybody
wonder.
does Alex Jones impressions now. Like Stephen Colbert does Alex Jones impressions.
I was the OG though.
The shtick is over. Like if it was like still like 2006, 2007, where nobody knew who he was, people would be like, "Who's this crazy guy you're always doing the voice of?" But now fucking everyone's got an Alex Jones impression.
And so I just want to ask you, just like with all the different films and everything like that you've made, do you still feel like you're still having to explain that portion of your career and everything, or is it something that I don't want to say like you're ashamed of it or what have you? I don't know if you are or not, but how difficult has it been to transition from a film that was incredibly popular, but now trying to branch out and make films about? I mean, you got a film about CBD, you got a film about crop circles and everything. You got this Black and Blue and everything like that. You say you're doing feature films and everything like that. Has it been difficult to kind of ostracize everyone's idea that that's all you've done?
It's easier now than it was, and I've had a couple of podcasts in the last month or two, and the tide seems to be turning, at least for the purposes of the 20th anniversary conversations, because like these last couple of podcasts, like nobody cares about 9/11. Not in the way they used to, like not in the way where they're going to bring me on and they're going to go like point by point through Loose Change. Like, what did you mean by this? And what about this? And how do you explain this?
Oh,
like,
but we can.
It's all, I would rather not.
I would rather not.
But that's been the nice thing about these last guys, even Armchair, even though I spoke to them for like an hour and a half and apparently they used like 1 minute of it, but I've been making it very clear to people. I'm like, look, if I'm just going to come on and talk about 9/11 and be the conspiracy theorist, like I'm not interested. And people are like, no, we want to know like literally anything other than that.
I thought you explained it pretty well on Armchair Expert when you said like at the time you were an angst-ridden young man, you know what I'm saying? You said you were working
I was
Red Lobster. I still am. I'm not young anymore, but you said you're like working at Red Lobster and you're still working on this documentary afterwards, like subsisting off of apparently I would guess like shrimp scampi and fucking cheddar biscuits and shit.
No, the cheddar biscuits, absolutely the cheddar biscuits.
Just fucking jackets.
When there were no tables, we were all just hanging in the kitchen, just eating the cheddar biscuits.
That's why the motherfuckers are never there. That's why they're always out of them. You guys are back there pounding them in the goddamn break room and shit.
Though. Like who wouldn't? Like they're high cholesterol crack.
But I definitely put on a couple Red Lobster pounds. That's for sure.
The Red Lobster 15.
The Red Lobster 15.
Yes. The cheddar biscuit 15.
But you were working on this film, and it's not like you made millions and millions of dollars from this and everything. Like you were living a very modest life at the time when this film came out, and it blew up, and you did not anticipate that happening whatsoever, correct?
No. No.
Would you have still done it if you knew how big it was going to be and the what transpired after? Would you have still done the film?
I've had a pretty good answer to this lately, so I'm going to repeat it.
Okay.
I don't regret making loose change, but maybe I regret putting my name on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's
because without my name on it, it could have just been this mysterious thing on the internet. Nobody knows where it came from. Nobody knows who made it. I guess if I had still narrated it, then if somebody had met me one day, they would have been like, why do you sound familiar?
Yeah.
But no, because I think half of what made it so tricky is having to become personally involved and having to be the face of the movie. And like, I can't remember. It was like The Outline or something, some fucking clickbait rag, but they were like, the 9/11 was an inside job guy has some regrets. And I'm like, first of all, fuckers, I have a name. Second of all, I barely ever use that phrase because even back then it was a loaded term that turned people off. So I never was like screaming like 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah.
3, like I don't even say it in loose change. Like I don't think I do anyway. Like I might say it in a different way. It was a psychological attack on the American people and was pulled off with military precision. That line, I guess, could be interpreted as saying it's an inside job, but I never in loose change was like 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of shit that pisses me off, where people are writing an article about me and the headline puts me as the 9/11 was an inside job guy. It's like, come on, guys, I'm a fucking person. Like I'm gonna see this shit. Like,
so that's the title of this episode, right? Gray Area Podcast featuring 9/11 is the inside job guy.
Yeah, it's a long title, but no. But I want to ask you a couple more questions about Black and Blue. I love this film immensely.
Thank you.
I realize this is a complicated question with probably a complex answer, but what do you think causes police brutality? Is it just because cops have little dicks, or is it or is it a bigger issue?
No, I think, well, there's one thing that I noticed, because, again, we have Rodney King in 93. So it's not like police brutality is a new thing. And I only say that to say my next point, which is that I noticed, first of all, a lot of the guys that are cops now are ex-military. A lot of them, grew up, they went overseas, they fought in Afghanistan, Iraq, either or, maybe both. They come back home and, they're shell shocked. They've possibly got PTSD. They miss that sense of like structure and brotherhood and the kind of like hoorah mentality of being in the armed forces. Not to denigrate it. I mean, Corey, my best friend, was in the army, but I mean, kind of a hoorah mentality.
Definitely.
And so
you waterboarded that guy. You waterboarded that dude. Like, he's got a hoorah mentality.
Look how many troops have come home and have committed suicide, killed their significant other and then committed suicide, killed their family and then committed suicide, killed their neighbor. Like a lot of these guys come home and they need help. Like they need legitimate help. Like there's at one point, I don't know if the numbers changed, but at a point there were 22 servicemen killing themselves each day. And so like I think a lot of these guys come back to the States and they're just kind of lost. They're screwed up. They need help. They need somebody to talk to. And instead of doing that, some of these guys double down and they join the police force. And speaking specifically about the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and the deputy sheriffs that patrol 90% of Los Angeles County, apart from the cities like LA and Santa Monica that have their own dedicated police force, literally everything else in Los Angeles County is patrolled by the deputy sheriffs. In order to be a deputy sheriff, you have to serve for 3 years in the LA County jail as a prison guard. So you get to spend 3 years in an LA County jail dealing with criminals, lots of criminals, some of them innocuous, some of them not so much. You got to deal with those people for 3 years and then you're let loose onto the streets.
Yeah.
It's a high level stress job. That's it's a stress filled work environment. You have to work in for 3 years and then they let that person filled with rage out with a badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why you have like 21-year-old girls getting like the shit kicked out of them just because these guys are just fucking insane with rage after everything they've been through. Being overseas, being an LA County jail guard, both. And again, like really all of this is to say like a lot of these guys just need help. Like they need therapy, they need a break, they need something other than to become a police officer. And unfortunately, that's just not how our society works. So I think a lot of it is systemic, again, going back to what I said about like the unions and the laws that they have set up, where a lot of these guys know that they have impunity. It's why rich people break the law and speed and do all kinds of crazy shit and usually get away with it because they can afford the good lawyer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
I thought it was interesting. Someone in your film, they said this that I had never really considered about police officers. They said the first day on the job, you're a boss, and there's no job like that in the world. I thought that was an amazing quote. I thought that was so poignant and so right on. And it is like the amount of power that you are given day one is fucking unprecedented, man. In no other avenue and no other profession in the world do you get this access to this much power.
I think that's a matter of perspective.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that's
other
a matter
than the military, I guess.
A matter of perspective, because I mean, you can be a cop and not feel like I'm the boss. You know what I'm saying? But some people they get in that position, they go straight there. So
I know what he's saying. Like from like a legal standpoint, like you are now the boss. It is your job to go out there and be the boss. I see your point, but I also see his point.
Yeah.
You're both right.
Yeah. I'm more right though. Just to be clear, he was kind of could see he was just trying to make you feel good.
And that was Alan Alves, a retired Freetown detective, so he would know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. So I think I have like one more question here. They also someone said on your film that the brother of Alves, I believe, said that the justice system. He's talking about the justice system. He said it favors people who have money.
Those who have money,
and of course it does. And so like you said, these laws aren't rich people aren't beholden to these laws because they have money and they don't like. For example, I heard the story about how Jeff Bezos would park his car in front of some building every day when he was going into work or whatever, and it was illegal for him to park his car there, and he was getting like $160 ticket every single day, and he just kept doing it because $160 to him is literally shit. The laws affect poor people way more than they do obviously rich people.
Well, let's not forget that Caitlyn Jenner killed a person.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
But she's a trans person. She's allowed. She gets one freebie.
I didn't want to make it about that.
I will go there
because that's Caitlyn Jenner's legal name now. Trans issues notwithstanding.
I like brave. That was your go-to though. You just pulled that out your back pocket. Let's not forget that Caitlyn Jenner killed a motherfucker.
No, I literally was just trying to think of like the first high-profile like celebrity killing somebody. Yeah. And unfortunately, that was the first one that came to mind. Is fucking kid because I was living in LA at the time, so it was kind of a big deal.
She's so brave.
I got a really odd question for you that I just popped in my head. Why is it that Rudy Giuliani is like
such a pervert?
No, like he's involved in like so many conspiracies over the past 20 years. Like there's so many conspiracies, and like Rudy Giuliani is a part of like a threadway through all of these.
Because he's just a
is that a coincidence, or is this dude on some bullshit?
Rudy Giuliani is is amongst a group of people who over the last 4 or 5 years, and possibly longer than that, have all just kind of lost their shit. Like I don't know what it is, and it's not just politicians like Rudy Giuliani. It's people that I know personally in my life. People who like when I met them, like in 2012, in one example, like we just talk about like fun shit and we talk about like movies. And then like over the last couple of years, he's gotten very political. He suddenly listens to Louder with Crowder and is like just getting all of his information from the wrong places and like rallying against like the liberals and like the Zionists. And I'm just like, Jesus. What happened to you, man?
Yeah.
And he became like a flat earther too.
Oh fuck, man, this guy's gone.
Like something happened over the last couple of years, and I don't think it's just Trump. It probably plays a part of it, but a lot of people just kind of lost it.
Yeah.
And I think that and Rudy Giuliani is a prime example where this guy was like king shit after 9/11.
Yeah.
He was America's mayor, and to go from that to 4 seasons total landscaping.
How the mighty have fallen.
You want to talk about life being a simulation? That's like right there. America's mayor going to 4 seasons total landscaping in the span of about 20 years.
Yeah, and his hand in his pants on a bed with what he assumes is a 15-year-old girl. in his hotel room.
Leaking hair dye and farting and just
Dude,
like,
yeah. He is a gross motherfucker, man.
he is a gross old man, and that's fine. We all get old and we all get gross, but
we don't all turn into battle toads. Like
yeah.
or Count Chocula.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's just like that dude's name has been popping up like, starting at 9/11 all the way through now. And it's like anytime there's like some big conspiracy, like somewhere in there, you'll find Rudy Giuliani's name. And it's just like, wait, how the hell is he involved in this?
Yeah, dude, he is somehow, somewhere. Just a couple questions before we wrap this up. To kind of wrap up put a bow on this for the Black and Blue film. What do you feel like is I know you talked about it a little bit in the film towards the end there. You gave like a nice little speech that I thought was brilliant. But what's the solution to police brutality and like the overreach and the militarization of the police and everything? I don't know. I just make films, motherfucker. I don't know.
Because as I said earlier, I don't think anything's going to change overnight, but I do think we are headed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely going to be some blowback from the Trump diehards, and again, I'm not trying to like Trump bash this whole time, but there's a guy around the corner that's got his Trump 2024 flag up, and I'm
Jesus fuck.
Am I going to have to look at this fucking flag for the next 4 years? And so there's going to be pushback from people like that who don't think that black people should have rights and don't see any problem, and have like the blue, like the fucking blue,
back the blue and shit, yeah,
flag, and they've got
yeah.
Anybody who makes that like part of their personality, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, same, dude. What the fuck?
It's just weird.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just weird.
Did you encounter any of them while you were making this film? Like, did you encounter like Back the Blue people, and what was your interactions like if you did?
Not really. I mean, when I'd go to protests, occasionally you'd have the guy drive by, like, get a job. But I mean, like, a lot of the honks were in support. Like, very rarely did I see like, a lot of. I didn't see any counter protesters. Maybe one or two things yelled out of a car, but me personally and the things that I attended, like, it was usually like a very vocal minority of people that had a problem with it. So no, me personally, I had some pretty good encounters. Even when the project was here's a funny thing. Before the film was even out and it could have been viewed by anyone, it had like a 6 on IMDb.
Oh shit! How? Yeah,
I don't know.
What?
They're like, I just don't like the name of it.
Kind of weird to review a film that nobody can see.
The name sounds stupid to me. Okay, I'm just gonna give this 2 stars.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's fucked up. So you've made films on a plethora of different subjects and everything. The Magic Molecule is your newest film, right? That's the newest documentary.
Well, no, Asteroid is
okay. Asteroid, okay. But can you tell us about the Magic Molecule just a little bit, just a brief summarization of it?
Yeah, I mean, that was basically a work for hire gig in LA.
Oh, wow.
Because my buddy was working for a company. They wanted to make a documentary about CBD. He recommended me. I got the job. But I mean, I wouldn't have taken it if there wasn't like something in there that was worth talking about. And, CBD to me was something that I personally was just starting to learn about. It was really starting to kick off the whole CBD craze where now you see it in like every fucking gas station.
It's good if it's in a gas station.
Well, to me, it was a nice way of forwarding the conversation about marijuana and cannabis and marijuana specifically, even though CBD is not marijuana, it is part of the cannabis family. But that was part of the conversation for me too, is, in like the third act of the film, the conversation kind of opens up and we just start talking about kind of marijuana legalization in general and just how people should be allowed to do whatever they want to do, especially if it has medicinal benefits. I learned a lot about CBD while making it. I met a lot of really interesting people. Had a fun time traveling around. The mayor of Hammond, Indiana, he was a real nice guy. Everybody was really nice. Like, that was a pretty chill production, and I got it done in less than a year. I mean,
wow.
coming off of Black and Blue, that took me fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
And Magic Molecule started shooting in January 2018, and then by that September it was done.
That's crazy.
Most of these movies, when you these documentaries, when you go into them, I'm just assuming like you don't have a plethora of knowledge when you go into them, and then when you come out, you're like almost an expert on these things. does it change you? Does it change your life? Like, does it change the way that you view the world after you finish a project, after you finish this accumulation of projects you've done? Do you have a different view than you had 10 years ago, or are you still pretty much the same?
No, I mean, I like to think that we're all always growing and learning, but no, I mean, I've definitely learned a lot from each project, both, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot both on an educational level, just about the subject. Again, like everything that I know about the Los Angeles County Deputy Sheriffs, like I definitely wouldn't know all that without making Black and Blue. I take information out of these projects, and more often than not, I take friendships out of it. People that I've interviewed, people that I'm in touch with, it runs the gamut. So I get a lot of things out of my projects. I just wish more people would see them.
Yeah, right.
Well, hopefully we can help with that.
Hopefully we can help you out with that. So.
No. And that's fine. And that's really, unfortunately, just the curse of being a documentary filmmaker, and a documentary filmmaker who had one really popular documentary that also happened to be his first one. And people are just like, oh yeah, what's the loose change guy been up to? He's actually been pretty busy, but nobody talks about that stuff.
As podcasters, we get paid in friendship. So
you guys get them sweet exposure bucks.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, this is the number 10 comedy podcast in Sweden, I'll have you know. So this is kind of a big deal, man.
We got a lot of friends.
Should have brushed up on my Swedish.
Hey, you should have, man. Shout out to the people in Sweden.
Shout out to us not knowing Swedish.
We love you.
But I like your meatballs.
Yeah. Okay.
Dylan,
it's been great, brother. This is awesome. You can follow his work. Check out his website, IamDylanAvery.com, Facebook.com/IamDylanAvery, Twitter @IamDylanAvery. Check out his films are available on all virtually all video on demand services and digital
keep an
platforms.
eye out for the Asteroid trailer, because it is an amazing trailer.
I can't wait.
I want to check this out.
Yeah.
What is the premise of the Asteroid?
Man's house gets hit by asteroid.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
That's something we can definitely get behind.
When you do the sequel, hit me up. I want to play the role of the asteroid.
That's awesome.
Yo, Dylan, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, picking your brain. Thank you so much. You're always welcome back anytime.
Yeah, when your film comes out, we'd love to have you on again, brother, and discuss that, promote it a little bit and everything.
That'd be great. This has been fun.
Yeah, this is a super interesting interview.
I like having normal conversations
there we go.
With people.
What's up, man? We get some awesome guests on here. This was a very interesting, fun interview, man. I can't encourage people that are listening enough to go check out his films. Black and Blue was very, very inspirational. It definitely affected me. I thought it was a great, fantastic film. Cannot recommend that more highly. You can check that out on Amazon along with a lot of his other films. Support documentarians, man. This guy's working his ass off to expose information that is incredibly important to all of us, not just Black people, not just, people that are fighting diseases with CBD, everyone, So this is important for everyone to check out.
Hey, stay safe out there, brother, and keep up the good work. Keep fighting, and we can't wait to see you again.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Sorry, my heater just kicked on.
No, you're good, man.
You're good, brother.
Perfect timing. Thanks, Dylan. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
And you can find us on hotpiemedia.com. You can find all of our stuff on there. On Instagram, we are at Podcast The Gray Area.
Boom.
Twitter, we are at Podcast Gray Area. Facebook.com/The Gray Area Podcast. Find us on hotpiemedia.com, of course.
That's right.
Shout out to Hot Pie Media for producing this and making everything awesome.
And wherever... Paranormally, I'm gonna need y'all to stop bringing ghosts in here. Like for real. Yeah. But until next time, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of The Gray Area. For Chad, I'm Cheatham. Y'all be kind to each other, and here's mud in your eyes. Peace.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home on the web at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.